So, 1984, and go. Here's some background. The time is 1984. The world has been split into three superstates: Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia. The setting for the novel is in Oceania on Airstrip 1, which is modern-day England. Oceania is ruled by a totalitarian government called Ingsoc, also known as the English Socialism Party. It's promoted by the ambiguous face of Big Brother, whose image is plastered on nearly every surface in Oceania with the text, "Big Brother is watching you." Private lives do not exist. Set into the wall of each home is a telescreen, which broadcasts propaganda day and night. The screens also contain microphones and cameras, meaning every citizen is under constant surveillance. Everything is dilapidated and in disrepair with an incredibly low standard of living. Basically, everything just really sucks. The government system involves four ministries: the Ministry of Love, the Ministry of Peace, the Ministry of Truth, and the Ministry of Plenty. These names are deceiving, as these ministries deal with torture, war propaganda, and starvation, respectively, among other things. Meet Winston Smith, our protagonist. He's 39 years old, single, and miserable. Winston lives in a rundown apartment along with one of the telescreens. However, his apartment layout allows him a little bit of privacy. He writes in a journal, an illegal item that he bought in a local junk shop, unseen and unheard by the telescreen. It gives him a bit of time to think his own thoughts and express them on paper so that he knows they're his. He remembers that things might have been different before the Ingsoc party took over, and has vague flashbacks of lush green fields and a time when things were better. This makes him hate the Ingsoc party and all others that do not question the party's regime. Winston works at the Ministry of Truth. It's his job to rewrite history, modifying dates, press releases, and newspaper articles so that when the Ingsoc party makes an error, there is no physical record they were ever wrong. Each day, all employees must participate in the 2 Minutes Hate, a daily event involving hatred towards Emmanuel Goldstein, the mysterious leader of the Brotherhood, an opposing rebel group. They promote freedom of speech, thought, and expression. Also working at the Ministry of Truth is Julia, a member of the Junior Anti-Sex League. For some unknown reason, Winston hates her. He thinks she seems very loyal to the party. But then... Winston realizes that Julia might actually not be all that bad. The two start a secret love affair, which is against basically all of the party's policies. They rent out the upper floor of the junk shop where Winston bought the journal. O'Brien, a higher-up co-worker, invites them to his house, suggesting that he knows they plan to overthrow the party. He gives them Goldstein's book and states that he himself is a member of the Brotherhood and has been working to undermine the party for years. Winston and Julia continue to meet in secret, living in their upper floor apartment. Winston reads Goldstein's book aloud to Julia. Suddenly, the Thought Police kick the door in, led by the owner of the shop. He's secretly an officer of the Thought Police, and the two are hauled away to the Ministry of Love for thought crime violations. At the Ministry of Love, the two discover that O'Brien is also a member of the Thought Police. The two are kept in confinement while enduring torture inflicted by O'Brien and having to face their worst fears.
How many fingers am I holding up?
I don't know.
During their time in the Ministry of Love, Winston and Julia both sell each other out. O'Brien and the Thought Police triumph over them, brainwashing the two. They are then released back into society to await their fates. Winston finally accepts his. He loves Big Brother.
Good evening. I hope you've enjoyed our brief summary of the novel 1984. In addition to a summary, it is also important to know the themes and concepts in the book. 1984 contains several themes and concepts, one of the most important being the dangers of totalitarianism. Totalitarianism is when the government tries to exercise full control over every part of life. What you see, what you say, what you do, and even what you think. Orwell wrote this novel to warn Western nations about this type of government, having witnessed firsthand the lengths totalitarian nations of the time like Spain and the Soviet Union would go to control their people. Orwell called his book 1984 because he was suggesting that if totalitarianism went unopposed, Some variation of the world in the novel could become reality in the next 35 years from the year the book was published in 1939. He makes an educated guess at what a perfectly totalitarian society would look like, and used existing methods of control in his book, each becoming a theme of its own, such as psychological manipulation. It's used by the party to overwhelm people's capacity for independent thought. This is done through a constant barrage of propaganda. Physical control is also used to forcefully condition the minds of their victims and convince them that the party controls reality. The party also controls information and history, a concept Orwell saw in real life. During Joseph Stalin's regime in Russia, he'd often have people edited out of photographs with him if they fell out of favor. The party does things in the same way. They don't allow people to record the past so that people's memories are vague. This makes it easier for people to believe whatever the party says. In controlling the past, the party justifies its actions in the present. The party also uses technology to create a state of permanent surveillance. Everyone is being spied on by telescreens and hidden microphones. They also use technology in the horrific brainwashing process. Language itself is used as mind control. Newspeak is a language used by members of the party where the vocabulary shrinks each year rather than expands, limiting people's ability to actually form strong thoughts for themselves. Another vital concept in the book is doublethink. It's an important element in the party's mission of mass mind control. What it means is holding two contradictory ideas in one's mind at the same time, causing them to cancel out. This makes it easy for people to accept everything the party says, while still having knowledge that counters what they've been told. Urban decay is also a notable concept because it shows what the party's priorities are. They completely disregard the well-being of their citizens. It's also very important to know what some of the symbolism in the book means. For instance, Big Brother represents the public face of the party that rules Oceania. His name suggests warm protection, while he is also an open threat, because no one can escape his gaze. No one really knows if he even exists, yet he is adored by the party. Winston buys a glass paperweight in an antique store in the Prole area of town. This paperweight has a piece of coral in it, and it represents the past and its sanctity. A picture of St. Clement's Church hangs in the room that Julia and Winston rent above the shop also represents the forgotten past. Outside the window of this room, Winston also sees a large Prole woman, a member of the lower class of Oceania. She represents to him reproductive virility, and he often imagines her raising the children who will someday rise up against the party. We hope this short summary of the themes and the main plot points has helped you in your understanding of the novel.
With any luck, it'll save you many trips to SparkNotes and lots of tearing your hair out.
So, we hope you've enjoyed our short little video, and may it help you pass any quizzes or tests that you may have on this truly depressing novel.
I'm James Campbell.
I'm Matthew Barron.
Good night.